Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our live session today. Today, we are talking about boosting your business with social media. I'm Will Spencer. I'm the Customer Experience Manager here at Fasthost. I am joined today by Chelsea Hopkins.
Hello.
And Chelsea, do you want to say what you do?
Yeah, I'm Chelsea Hopkins. I am the Social Media and PR Manager here at Fasthost.
And we have Tom Coker-Jones on the technical side today. Do you want to introduce yourself, Tom?
Yep. Hi. Yeah, I'm Tom. I am the what's my job title again? Customer
engagement specialist.
It's very confusing. I will preface this with just a quick warning. If we freeze visually, we're still here. We're still talking. It's okay. We've just had a few issues. Like literally,
we've just
as
frozen.
I've just said it. So just a heads up. It might freeze. I'll try and fix it if I can.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll stay here. We'll still be talking. So
anyone who's joined us before will know these live streams are cursed. Yeah. Something always seems to go wrong that is just completely never happens before. But hey ho, we're here. We will do our best. So without further ado, we will get started. So today we're talking about boosting your business with social media, and we're just going to go through some content. So we're going to look at what the main social media platforms are. What you should focus on as a company, about how you should get the best results from those social media platforms. How often should you post? Because that's always a bit of a question. What you should actually post, and just a few tips on engaging your audience. Unfortunately, Chelsea knows the answers to all of these.
Most of the answers. I'll do my best.
Yes. But before we get started, we wanted to just ask, just so we can try and tailor the content a little bit and make it as relevant as possible. And we don't know how many people are actually going to be coming, so this is always a gamble. But who are you and what do you do? So hopefully Tom will change the slide. Next one. In fact, Tom, I've already been through that.
You were in through it. Sorry.
Yeah, I've been through that already.
There we go.
There we go. So yeah, who are you? What do you do? So if you want to tell us a little bit about your companies and who your customers are, we can kind of tailor the content. We have got it so that if no one wants to talk to us, we can do it anyway. But yeah, if you want to interact, it'd be good to have an interactive session, as social media does tend to be about engagement. Yeah. So
it's about talking to who you're talking to. So if you're watching us on YouTube, there is a sort of a chat thing on the right hand side. I think it's on the right hand side. Or if you're on mobile, it'll be below where you're seeing us.
We'll give it a minute and see if anyone wants to talk to us, which might not happen. We might not have anyone.
Oh.
There we go.
Oh, who have we got?
We've got Mark Hobson, and he says, I'm going to get the pronunciation wrong. Is it a chiropractic
clinic? Lovely. So that's obviously a very local business.
Yeah.
So lots of the tips I have today are very relevant to yourself. We've got a couple more comments. Who else do we have?
There we go. So I'm just going to let you read them. So we've got Jackie Stewart with the Financial Wealth Community Accountant and Personal Financial Money Coach. Oh, wow, we've got a lot of people talking to us. Thank you. Hi, Christopher. Paula says, I'm Paula from Farnell Clark. We offer accounting, payroll and HR services to clients.
Brilliant.
Rose is just starting out. Yep, good. That's what we like to see as well. And we've got Meadow Falls as a campsite focusing on direct bookings. And brilliant. Wolf has a TV.
Congratulations on your television, Wolf.
Maybe watching us on that right now perhaps.
Yeah.
And we've got
online bookshop.
Running an online bookshop in the UK. So
brilliant.
A really good wide range, and thank you for talking to us. We do appreciate it. It makes our lives a lot easier.
That's a great wide range.
Talk to us. Yes, that really is.
Okay, so we've got accountants, chiropractors, HR. Rose, what are you just starting out with? We've also got a campsite. There's Nathan, property developments.
And events management.
Lovely. And online bookings for a campsite. Cool.
This is good. This is a good wide range
of
exciting different topics, because we were going to have to talk about web hosting, and that's, it's not the most exciting topic, right?
Throughout as well, feel free to pop questions in the chat. If they're relevant at that point, we'll answer them. Otherwise, we'll hold them till the end and we'll answer them at the end.
Yeah, I'll do a QA section at the end. And I would just point out, if I have to answer any questions on chat, my screen name is Jenks, just because I'm using my own personal account, just because Tom has hogged the Fasthost account very greedily. So if you see someone posting called Jenks, that is me. I've got a TV movie production company, actually.
Fantastic.
Last message truncated. Yeah, okay. It truncated at a good point, I feel.
That's even cooler than having your own telly. You put stuff on telly.
Oh, we've got loads more. We've got
fitness trainer,
personal digital freelancer, books and courses. That's
what Rose is doing.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Cool. Mike from Ceramica Bathrooms and a bathroom and kitchen fitting company. That's also quite a cool one for stuff as well. Angela Coulter, I wrote books and a blog. So we have got a very good wide-ranging audience here. I can't actually see how many viewers we've got, but I'm guessing a fair few from that.
And you've got a good amount of people in here. Also, if any of you are interested in each other's businesses, part of being successful on social is forming a community. So if you know that you need, so for example, a gospel choir for a wedding that Tim King has just put in the bottom there, then obviously contact Tim. You've already just made those connections just by commenting. And that sort of leads us nicely into something I'll talk about later. But our next slide, please.
The main social media platforms, and I'm definitely going to leave this one to you because I am not a social media expert. I've got a Facebook account that I never post to, and that's about it. So
that's fair enough.
Yeah.
So the main social media platforms at the moment are LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok, Reddit, X, previously known as Twitter. A lot of people still call it Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. These are the most open, public ones. There's also other social media, for example, WhatsApp messaging. They're a little bit more niche to get into. So I'm expecting a lot of you are operating more on Facebook and Instagram, just judging by the businesses that you've got, and LinkedIn as well. Just reading through that list of businesses again. Yeah, so if you just pop in the chat the one that you use the most, that would be great.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see.
And I can also see quite a few of you would be able to have some success on TikTok as well. Rose perhaps on YouTube talking about the courses. So yeah, that's some pretty interesting, such a wide range of businesses in the chat. It's incredible.
It certainly is. It's very, very good.
So our next slide is...
Charles. Charles Wilcock. I've met him, in fact. So there we go. It's good to see you again. Yeah.
So Paula's using LinkedIn the most. Meadows using Facebook and Instagram and Facebook. Mostly Facebook and Instagram. Yeah, that's about what I expected. So those are your bread and butter platforms. A lot of you are running more local businesses, or you need to reach certain communities. So those are very helpful for reaching certain communities. LinkedIn is, again, it's a slightly more, I'm going to say professional version of Facebook. You're less likely to talk to your mum on LinkedIn, but it is very, very useful. And especially I can see Wolf there with his TV production company. YouTube and LinkedIn are going to be his bread and butter. So that's good. A lot of you are already using platforms that are good for you. Did you have a question?
No, I was just going to say, I think the next slide is which one you should focus on. I think we can either leave it on this slide and talk about the differences between the different platforms, or on like sort of the audiences for each one.
Yeah.
Or we can move on to the next slide and talk about it there.
Well, I can do you a little rundown of the sort of audiences. So I touched on that a second ago.
This surprises me, actually. We talked about it before.
A lot of you are probably not marketing to Gen Z at the moment. You're probably aiming more at the millennials and the older. But something that Will found particularly interesting when I was talking about it the other day is the audience on Facebook is a lot older than we expect. The main audience on Facebook now is 45 plus. So if you're aiming to hit that market, Facebook is where you need to be. Instagram skews slightly younger, but the slightly younger audience on Instagram are very much looking for integration from their friends. They're on there to talk to their friends, so you need to be talking to them like a friend. I'm sure quite a few of you have been using Reels. I can see there's a couple of businesses that would be good for Reels on here, and those are a really good reach on Instagram. X and Twitter it used to be an absolute powerhouse for business advertising. Now it's not so much because so many people have left the platform. Yes. That's much more if you're in the tech space. it's not very local anymore. You can't keep your audience as local as you need to. Reddit, again, is a very interesting one. If you're doing something techie or something that you don't need people to travel to you on, then it's a good spot to be posting about what you do and taking part in conversations around your expertise. I'm thinking a couple of people in here, perhaps the television and the digital freelancers, people who have a product that's not necessarily one you have to travel to. Reddit could be a good place to chime in with your expertise, but not necessarily a good place to advertise. TikTok is the current powerhouse. It is probably a lot of people are quite interested in it, but it's very resource intensive. We'll get to that later. But TikTok is, if you hit it right, it can be an absolute game changer for your business. YouTube, again, they're doing short form videos, and of course we're on YouTube now. YouTube is great for stuff like this. It's great for longer form, instructional. Your audience can be almost any age. I mean, it completely depends on what you're putting out there. If you're putting, I see Joshua Beam has mentioned Truth Social.
I was going to say, I've not used it.
I wouldn't say Truth Social is one of the big ones, but if it works for your audience, that's absolutely fine to use. It works in a similar way to other social media sites. Back to YouTube. So we're on YouTube now. Again, it's very resource intensive. You can see there's 3 of us here. We're sat in front of a camera. We've got 3 lights. We've got 3 microphones just to run this live stream. You don't necessarily need that to run a live stream.
No, you don't. You don't. Tom's very particular, though.
Tom did study production.
If you want to see the difference between me and Tom and our pickiness, go back on our YouTube and look at some of our older videos when I was doing his job. The production quality has somewhat increased since I stopped doing it. So,
but to be fair, the more complicated you make it, the more likely it's going to go wrong. Like, unfortunately, I can't get the camera working today.
Just
sometimes
do what I do: live stream off your phone. Jobs are good. And
yeah.
So LinkedIn as well. LinkedIn is, as I said earlier, it's a bit more like the professional Facebook. You can really burrow down into your niche there. So, for example, if your niche is chiropractic, which somebody mentioned earlier, you can really talk about sort of what you've learned, what you know from your clients, any sort of, I don't know, people like to hear stories on LinkedIn and they like them to be linked back to a professional sort of point of view. They like everything to be business focused on there.
Perception.
Yeah.
It's all about perception on social media.
It's getting much more casual now, but that feeds into the whole, people want you to be personable. They want you to be who you are on social media. They want to feel like if they've seen you on any of these platforms and they then turn up at your premises, are you the same person or are you putting on something for social media?
Yeah.
So that's a big point of today. Could we have the next slide, please? So here is what we should focus on. So as a business, you've all got your ideal customers, you've got what you're selling. Those 2 things you should already know. Before you even start your business, you should know what you're selling and who your ideal customer is.
I would say that yes, you should know that, but maybe not everyone does. It's sometimes difficult because we've got a massive range of customers in Fastsafe. We've got from the sole traders to the digital, sort of the digital companies. And if your expertise is plumbing, for example, you know what you're selling, but like you might not have, you don't necessarily know your customer because it's doing business cases and stuff is.
Everyone needs plumbing.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean that's true.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? I think the point is like how to identify it. Sometimes there's a bit of an art to that as well. It's not super easy. And sometimes you'll find, like we've seen it before, the person you think you're selling to isn't the person you're selling to. And sometimes you have to switch. So yeah, it is, you can identify the ideal customer, but understanding your market is really important. And if you're selling on a digital platform, you can usually see the demographics and things like that. But it's, as much as you can identify your ideal customer, it is sometimes it's not who you're selling to.
Sometimes it's not who you're selling to. Sometimes your ideal customer may be, if I were to come up with an example here, say somebody was doing bathrooms. Say you're doing bathrooms. You've been doing a lot of, I'm not going to call them low end, but sort of more of the cheaper bathrooms, and you really want to get into doing sort of those high end. huge, beautiful showers with granite and everything in them, then you're going to need to start marketing to a different kind of customer.
Sure.
And that's all it is figuring out who you want to be selling to, and then act like them on social media, which should then help you identify your brand voice. So identifying your brand voice is really about making sure that your customers feel comfortable with what you're saying to them. The best way to do this, if you're a sole trader or a very small business, is to start with your founder or your main yourself, and just talk how you would to any customer. Imagine that you're just talking to them in person when you're typing. So there's something that a lot of social media pages fall into, is they fall into sales speak, where they do all the capitals and the special offers right now, and nobody's on Facebook to see special offers. Do you go on Facebook to see special offers?
I don't go on Facebook, but if I did, it wouldn't be to see special offers.
Are you scrolling your Instagram feed looking for a deal?
Can't say I am, no. Not my usual,
No, so
usual Tuesday night.
You need to reach those people who may be interested in your services or your business without being too salesy, because then it won't be delivered to them. And that's quite a tricky balance to reach. That we can get to that in a bit.
Yeah, I think sometimes I do go on Insta Reels because my wife does quite enjoy a good reel. So you know, scrolling through, and sometimes you'll see an advert and you don't realise it's an advert, and they're probably the ones I watch.
That's the ones you want.
Yeah.
That's the ideal ones. I can see that Meadow Falls has put here, when we started we thought our customer was anyone who wanted to go camping. So wrong. We know now our ideal customer is small family groups looking for adventure and a peaceful night. See, that's correct. Yeah. It's very much experimenting. You might find halfway through doing some marketing that you hit a niche somewhere, and those are your ideal customers.
Mm-hmm.
You may also find that you market to a group of people, they turn up at your business and they're not the customers that you enjoy serving, which also does happen. It's your business at the end of the day, and you want to be working with people that you enjoy working with. Which brings us on to what resources you have in-house. You mentioned Reels.
Yes.
Yeah. So
yes.
Yeah. A lot of people think you need a high-tech setup to do something like a Reel or to have a successful TikTok channel. You don't. What you need is a phone and some grit. You want to be able to have that consistent schedule. Okay, I'll make these and I'll post them. And that's going to bring you more success than a highly polished, unless your business, of course we have TV and film in here as well, unless your business is to do highly polished TV and film, in which case please do that. People aren't looking for highly polished production anymore. They're looking for something that fits natively into what they're looking at on social media.
One thing I was going to ask, because this is actually a question from myself more than anything.
Yeah.
So sometimes I see a lot of reels and everything, and they've got quite nice editing, so they'll have like overlays of words or all of this sort of thing. Now I don't really make them, so in terms of, obviously, if you wanted to make quite a fun reel, what kind of editing software is like openly available? Is it built into like Instagram and all of those sorts of things?
So it entirely depends. Instagram has its own sort of editing platform. TikTok also has its own editing in-house capability. Both of those platforms will actually give your video a boost, a very tiny boost, but a tiny boost, if you create and edit the video in the same app. You don't have to, but it will give your video an ever so tiny, tiny little edge, because they prefer things to be done in-app. Both of those platforms will also readily accept video that you can edit. This is again talking about phones only. You can edit them on your phone on a free program called CapCut. CapCut is owned by TikTok, so Instagram may penalize you ever so slightly for posting things with CapCut logos on it. You can get a logoless version of CapCut, but those are the best ways to be doing things. Editing them in the app as much as you can. They've all got text tools, they've all got emoji popovers, they've all got sort of things that help you change scenes. They've got all of that in-app. Play with it. The best way to learn is to play with it. You don't have to post everything you make. Just play with it and then delete it, or play with it and put it in drafts. You might have someone in your life already that knows how to do it. You might be on their TikTok or their Instagram one day and go, oh, that's actually really cool. How did you do that? Just ask them. Most people are more than happy to show you. But yeah, definitely playing is the best.
Cool. There was a quick question. Yeah, Rose just asked, how long should a reel be?
Oh, how long should a piece of string be? So reels, it completely depends on what you're showing. So Rose, if I remember, was doing courses and educational things.
Just starting out, I think, was Rose.
Courses and books.
Yeah.
So Rose, you can probably get away with longer reels because
courses,
you're selling books and courses. So you need to make sure that the person watching is going to want to watch it the whole way through. So if it's something longer, like this is a longer format stream that we're doing now.
Mm-hmm.
If it's something longer, we can basically keep giving people new subjects all the way through, or you can cut it down into 10-second slots if you've only got really short bits of information to give out about your courses. This applies to all the other businesses here. It's the camping one particularly could do a longer reel about all the different areas of the campsite and the facilities available.
Yeah.
People will watch. As long as you've got the interesting content, people will watch something. I mean, it's proven by some of the most popular podcasts in the world are up to 3 hours long, and people will sit down specifically to listen to them. So as long as your content is engaging and your content is actually relevant to what the people are watching, then there's no limit on time. I know that's a bit counterproductive to some people. They're like, oh, we need to do short, and there's no one's got an attention span anymore. People do have attention spans, evidenced by you guys all still being here 20 minutes later.
I don't know, I'm not looking at the viewer feed, you just see it coming up.
They're all here, they're all talking. But it's a thing. People still have attention spans.
Yeah.
So yeah, what's our next slide?
Yeah, it's about what content should you post.
What content should we post?
So this isn't going to be relevant to every single company. Would be slightly different, I would suspect.
Yes, very different.
So
as
you can take a sip if you want.
Oh no, it's okay. I've shuffled my can around. They can't see, but I was holding a can to take a drink. What content should we post? So we should be posting content about the business, but not constantly. So if you're constantly posting, for example, you sell, I'll just use this as an example, you sell fizzy drinks. If every single one of your posts is a photograph of a fizzy drink and it says the same thing, people are going to switch off. You want to start trying to put your product or service into a situation. So for example, with the fizzy drink, I could go out onto the street and hand it to someone. Obviously get their permission before you film them, but film people interacting with your product, film people enjoying your product. This could be photographs as well, and it could also be in story form. We actually had some success having our in-house writer write fictional stories about some of our partners on the partner project. She wrote one about one of the partners preparing to break into our data center, and it was a really popular story that we posted on LinkedIn. That was our highest performing post over one of the months. And it was just a little bit of fiction. It mentioned the partner business, it mentioned our business and what we do, but it was an engaging piece of content because people were like, oh, there's a story, we'll read it. So yeah. Oh, I've just seen people chatting about the content. We'll talk about that in a second. Yeah. Offering your expertise. Again, offer what you know. Obviously, don't give it away. If your business, for example, the courses, if there's content in those courses that people are paying for, don't give everything away. But if you give a little bit away, it's like giving someone a starter, then they're ready for their main. You want to make sure they're ready for the main meal, so give them something to eat beforehand. Offer your expertise. Say you've got some really nice kit that you use. I know there's a personal trainer in here. Perhaps there's a gym that you're attached to, or an app that you use to help your clients track your meals. Show those off. Show them the sort of things that they would be taking part in if they came to use your business. Making use of live events as well. If you go to a networking event, or you go to an industry event, or you go to a local village fete, film that, take some photographs, or if you don't feel comfortable with photographs and filming, write a little bit about it. Write, hey, I went to the village fete on the weekend. It was really lovely to meet these businesses. Really enjoyed this. Tag those other businesses, because your network is your strength here. It's a social network. Social is the key. You have to be talking to people.
Yes.
You look like you want to say something.
No, I was just, when we were doing the content for this a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about this. One of the examples you're talking about is someone doing like a live review of like, I can't remember what it was now, or like a live tour of their workshop, I think it was, for a mechanic.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
So you can do that with just a phone as well.
Absolutely.
Have a wander around with your phone.
So if you have premises and you have a mobile phone, and you want to get people to come and have a look at your premises, do a little tour, show people the fun things. Perhaps you've got a joke somewhere, blue tacked on a wall in the office. Show people there's that human side of your business, because people buy from people. That's something I constantly say. People buy from people. They don't buy from corporations. If you think about everything you've bought on an emotional level over the past few weeks, few months, there was an emotion behind that purchase, unless it was something you needed, like water. There's always an emotion as to why you choose the business.
Subconsciously, maybe. And also you can live chat with people then as well, I suppose.
Yeah.
So you can have that interaction with your audience. So Twitch and that is a different kind of game. But
Yeah.
you could, I mean, there's that sort of, a lot of people build up a community by having live sessions.
Yeah.
There we are now. I love interacting with people is really fun.
Mentioning Twitch, there was a mechanic that I used to actually follow on Twitch. He used to live stream on Twitch and on YouTube in the same way that we're live streaming now. He'd set up a camera in the corner of his workshop, and he would just live stream his day, and he would chat to people in the chat. If they asked him mechanic questions, he would just chat to them no matter where they were in the world. He was in the States, and it was a really engaging live stream, and it was just all day.
Well, it's interesting, because I don't know how to fix a car, but if he's doing like, here's how to, I don't know, change your oil or something fairly basic that, but you could like chat to him at the same time, ask questions. It's interesting. I'm going to just quickly interject before the next one, just because there was a question, and I feel like I can
go for it. What's the question?
I'm seeing a lot of chat about ManyChat, which I believe powers those auto replies and captures emails when you add comments. XXX to get my XXX post, you can see it there. As a small business, is it worth investing? This isn't something I've heard of. So.
As a small business, it entirely depends how many comments you get, and how many of those would benefit from an actual human reply as opposed to an AI reply. ManyChat is obviously something that can be quite useful for larger businesses that get a lot of comments, that need to have that presence out there to reply to them. But if you're a smaller business, and you're needing, basically you need the people to trust you. So taking an hour or two in your day, or even half an hour in the evenings, to go through and reply to comments in a very human way in your voice is probably worth more than investing money into something like ManyChat.
Yeah.
If you need to collect people's email addresses, because I see you mentioned that there, probably a better way would be to have a form on your website, or to ask them directly, hey, are you happy to join my mailing list? Or because that builds that trust. It all comes back to the people building people thing. Bots aren't very personal. If you're a large business like we are, but we still reply to everything humanly. We don't have any AI replies anywhere, I don't think.
It's a difficult, I think, like on a social media, I don't think they're so relevant. Chatbots on a website make far more sense.
Yeah.
Because you're not necessarily looking for that. You just don't need, if you just got a question or something, perfect for that sort of low level content, or like easy queries to solve. But yeah, social media does tend to be about talking to people, I think, doesn't it? But there is a place for it, and sometimes it will work. So I don't think it's as easy as a yes or no question. suppose it depends on how much time you can invest. If you've got no time to ever invest into social media, then it will probably help you in that situation as well.
Yeah, only if you've got no time at all. But most of us can find even 20 minutes in a day, maybe over lunch, just log in. I'm not saying work on your lunch break, but if you are stuck for time, log in, do 20 minutes of replying to things, and then just put the phone down. It's worth taking that time to do it.
Yeah. Cool.
So these 3 tips are on screen now.
Oh, did we actually? We didn't
else?
quite finish what
Did we
content you
not?
post. However, we will
sorry.
try and keep it fairly brief because I'm conscious of time. It's very good that we're having these questions. I do love having the questions in the interaction.
It's great. It's lovely.
Yes. So go back one time, please. It was just using comedy and using your expertise. But
using comedy. Well, we talked about using expertise because for some reason it's written on there twice.
Oh.
Offer your expertise, use your expertise.
Well, I say
use them both.
A little bit of both, I guess, yeah.
And then using comedy if you can.
I'm not going to change that now. It's going to annoy me.
Comedy, again, is something that a lot of people will relate to. And I'm not meaning post a stand-up. You don't need to post a whole stand-up. Yeah. You can just make a funny comment, or say if something is happening in the world, in the news, if you're able to make a joke about it. Obviously, if it's okay to make a joke about it, don't joke about things that aren't funny. It's worth using comedy. What's the other one I was thinking? Examples like when the BAFTAs are on, there's a lot of things like memes that come out of them. Funny photographs of actors pulling faces in the audience. Have a look and see what other businesses in your niche are posting, and either do sort of what they're doing or do the complete opposite. So if you're doing the complete opposite, we call it zigging and zagging. If you're zagging when everybody else is zigging, you're going to stand out. If you think of the big companies that are coming through in advertising, all of them are going against the grain. Obviously, take this with a little grain of salt. Don't be too zaggy because you are still small businesses. If it's not going to work with you, then don't do it. But if it's going to work for your business and your voice, then go against the grain and use comedy with it. Yeah.
Where it was relevant. Yeah. I would try to see. I'm not funny at all, which is why I don't use social media. So it's like sometimes it can be quite scary because it just falls flat, and then it's.
But that's another thing is if something does fall flat, don't take it to heart.
No.
It's not always going to hit the right audience. It's not always going to perform well. It might be something that there's a running joke among social media managers where something that we've spent 5 hours on, hours and hours and hours, and lots of preparation, and we've had to fight legal to get us to post it, will flop. Whereas something else that we spent literally 30 seconds on a Monday morning when we're half asleep, and we've posted it, it's the best performing post of the week.
Happened to me when I made videos so far, so long as you never expect are the ones that took off.
Yeah.
I'll take it, but spend hours on a video, it gets like 10 views. It's like another one, you just, I'll just put this up. It's like
experimenting.
2,000 views later, it's like,
It's all about experimenting. You've all got access on your social media to analytics tools. You'll be able to go into the analytics, have a little look and just see what's getting the most response, and then just make more of that as well. You don't have to be an analytics whiz to understand that. You can go into the analytics and literally just look at the bar chart, and the biggest bar is the one.
It's the one. Cool. All right, we will now move on. We've got, I think there's only a couple more slides, and then then we'll
good.
Stop talking and listen to everyone.
This is my top 3 tips. Is don't be afraid to repeat yourself. Not everyone is going to see every post. I think the last time I looked at figures, when you post something on a meta platform, so that's Instagram or Facebook, it shows it to something like 1% of your viewers at first. If that 1% don't respond, it then only shows it to another 1%. If that 1% respond, it then shows it to 5%. If that 5% respond, it then shows it to 20%. These numbers may be slightly out, but this is roughly the way it works. If people are responding, or it even knows if they've scrolled past and scrolled back up. It knows when that's happened. So if people are responding, it will then just show it to more people. but don't be afraid to repeat yourself. Say you posted on Monday about a special offer that you had, and you thought your post was great, but it didn't quite hit the right audience. It's okay to repost that again on Friday. It's okay to look back on your last month's worth of posts and say you did a tour of your facilities, or you showed off your favourite piece of kit. It's okay to repost that again, because people don't see every post you make, because your audience is rotating, which is my next point. If you think of your social media pages as like a billboard on the side of the motorway, people are driving past. They're not all stood there waiting for it to change. They're just driving past, and you want it to catch their eye as they drive past. So think of them as a rotating audience. It's not always the same people. It's always different people coming in front, unless you've got a dedicated following, which you may get. This is more applicable to people who are trying to gain a following. If you've got a dedicated following, you do have people stood there staring at the billboard, but most people are walking past. You just need to catch their attention. Mm-hmm. Catching their attention, talking to people. If there's been a comment on your post and they've said something, even if it's something like, or even something negative, always give them a comment or reply. Always say hello. How was your day? What's going on? I'll come back to that question in a moment.
Have you seen the one?
I've just seen a question pop up. But yeah, I'll get you to read it out. Okay. But yeah, talk to people. If you've got, say for example, I know there's a campsite in here. If there's a campsite in here and down the road there's a pub, and the pub has a Facebook post, comment on the pub's Facebook post. The pub will then start commenting back on your stuff, hopefully. Generally people do. They like to build that relationship online. That then means you can now send your campers to the pub, and people who are stopping in and saying, oh, this is a nice area to holiday in, the pub can send their customers to you. It's all about sharing that network as well. Network with people local to you, network with people who do the same thing as you as well. So
yeah, I mean, on that point, when I do use Facebook, I quite often just have a look at where I live in Abbeymead. There's a notice board on there, and there's a lot of that. A lot of businesses talking to each other, recommending people. Like often people are posting on there, does anyone know a good gardener or anything like that, and then either gardeners will pop up and say, yeah, I can go and work, or someone will recommend someone. So that it's actually a really social board. It's really good. So
that's the other thing as well, is if you're a business that's location based, joining those local groups will be useful. When you're posting on Instagram, making sure you tag your location on the posts really helps, and on TikTok as well. Talk about your location if you are location based. If you're more service based and you're more online based, then talk to people in your niche or people who would complement what you do. For example, there was television and live events. Talking to other businesses that do things like perhaps drone services or dry hire of kit. If you're seen to be communicating with all of these businesses, it shows that you have a stronger network to deliver those things, and it boosts your social media presence. So talking is great.
We like a bit of talking.
We do. It's lovely to see so much talking in the chat.
I know, this is the busiest chat I think we've ever had, which is lovely to see. So thank you for everyone interacting. It's really good. So the question was just from Elmir's online classroom was, would that not look a bit rubbish on Insta, the preference for that platform, or would you repost the story? So that's, again, about repeating yourself, that first point there, and how if you're repeating yourself, does it look okay on like Instagram, for example?
I mean, think about the last time you visited an Instagram grid. When was the last time you visited somebody's Instagram page? You can actually put covers on your stories now, or covers on your reels, sorry. Repost it as a story, go for it. Repost it as a story as many times as you like, but also go back into old things and repost them on your story. You can change the cover on your reels so that when you go to your grid, everything looks different. People generally aren't going to go to your grid, click one and then scroll down all of your videos. Pardon me. I don't think people do that very often. I haven't got any evidence on it, but have you done it?
You're talking to the wrong person about social media, honestly. I just don't use it very often.
That's fine.
Which is why we got you here for this
one. Yeah.
But do we do it at Fast Hosts?
We don't actually use Instagram very much at Fast Hosts.
No, I know that.
But we do repost things. Sometimes we'll have a social media graphic, and then I'll have the designers change the background colour or just change the wording ever so slightly.
Yeah.
So, for example, one might say the wall is grey, and the other one will say the wall is a light grey, and just add little bits to it.
Yeah.
We'll change purple to yellow, just to make that grid look pretty as well. Mm-hmm. If Insta is your problem solved, love it. That's my day's made. I love solving problems. But yeah, change your reel covers. It's very easy to do. And also, some people do delete old reels and then repost them. It's up to you if you want to do that. Some people will wipe an entire account. I think one that did it recently was it McLaren? They wiped their whole account before they relaunched something. It takes a lot of work doing all that deleting now.
A company of the size of McLaren can probably get away with that.
They can get away with it. I wouldn't recommend a smaller business do it.
Yeah.
Keep your content up because it can get revisited, especially on TikTok. Yeah. TikTok will push old videos out every now and then, and you'll find one of your old videos picks up 5,000 views overnight, and you go, "Whoa, hang on, I posted that months ago."
Yeah. It's TikTok.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Shall we move on? We got this and then one more slide, and then we'll be done. Again,
we'll do
it's
some
great
questions.
that we're having lots of questions and stuff. So conscious of people.
That's okay.
I'm tired of the sound of my voice in particular. But,
no, you're fine. When we get to the questions slide as well, I want to encourage people to feel free to follow each other on Facebook, Instagram. You've got a ready-made community here, ready to go. You can all be commenting on each other's posts and helping each other out. That would be a cool thing to do. Anyway, how often should you post? This is a question I get asked all the time. So it's quality over quantity. So if you're posting something a fantastic quality once a week, then that's brilliant. If you want to post a lot of things in one day and then leave it for a week and then post a lot of things in one day, that's fine as well. It's the consistency that the platform is looking for. So quality helps it reach who you want it to reach, and consistency helps that audience know when it's coming, but it also helps the platform know when it's coming as well. And when I say quality over quantity, I don't mean production quality. I mean quality of content. So is the information being given to the viewer of quality, or are you just going, "Oh, we've got sausages today, $3.99. Are you telling them about the sausages? Are you...
It's expensive sausages.
Expensive sausages. Well, it's 6 sausages in a butcher shop for $3.99.
That's actually pretty good.
Bargain.
Yeah, that's not bad.
So you'd add a little bit more, make that quality over quantity. Have a posting rhythm. TikTok used to recommend you post 3 times a day, which is wild. No one can do that. TikTok now recommends that you post quality, and it will just pick up on quality and get that out. Having a rhythm helps you. It doesn't necessarily help the platform. Helps the platform to know when it comes. But having a rhythm means that you can go, right, on Friday, I am going to post. On Monday, I am going to post. And it helps you prepare your week and your workload as well. You won't build an audience overnight. It might take 6 months, it might take a month, it might take a year, it could take 2 years if you're on YouTube to build an audience. Obviously, you've all got businesses to run alongside the social media. Social media is why I exist. It's a full-time job. And I'm just me, and I'm trying to manage all of the Fast Hosts channels as well. So it's a lot for one person to do, especially if you're running a business as well.
It's harder nowadays as well with all the different platforms.
Yeah.
I remember back in the day it was just Facebook and Twitter pretty much, but now there's so many.
Which adds something important as well is you don't have to be on every platform. You don't have to wake up and panic in the morning that you're not posting on LinkedIn. Post where your customers are and where you find success. So I noticed a lot of you were doing the Meta platforms, which is Facebook and Instagram. Some of you were using LinkedIn and YouTube. I actually don't think I saw a TikTok on the posts, but don't panic about it. If you're not posting on there, don't worry. Get to it when you've got the resources, and if you never get the resources to do it, that's fine as well, as long as you're finding success where you are. However, if you're commenting, so if you're commenting on other people's posts, if you're replying to your customers, do that at least once a day. Once a day, set aside, like I said earlier, 20 minutes, half an hour, go through and just reply to everything. Go onto some other businesses' feeds, comment on theirs, and it helps get your name out there a bit more, and it really drives home that social aspect of social media. It's so often overlooked. It's called social media, but people don't do social. So, and yeah, that last point again is the same, is responding to comments in a timely manner. So if someone has messaged you and you've left it for 3 days, try not to do that. It's a conversation. They're trying to have a conversation with you. They're reaching out to you on social media because that's where they're most comfortable. Talk to people. It's really important. I can see a question there.
Yes, it was from Ceramica. Do you think before and after photos of our bathroom remodels would be a good idea? I'd look at that, personally.
Absolutely no-brainer. Yes.
100%.
100%. People love that sort of stuff. They also love, if you think about the kind of television that you would watch, for example, Grand Designs or... what's the other one where they change the house over in 24 hours?
I can't think of the name of it, but all of those shows are super popular. Even I like those.
They're going there for they're watching that because they want to see the struggle. So even if you haven't had a struggle doing this bathroom remodel, if you do a short video beforehand and be like, oh, this bathroom, look at it, it's slightly outdated. I mean, we might have a bit of trouble getting this toilet out, or this shower panel is going to cause us a bit of a fuss, but we can do it, no problem. Add a little bit of conflict so that your viewers can go, oh, they overcame that really well. People love to see successes against an issue, even if there wasn't an issue. Obviously, don't make it up, but add something realistic in. People do love that. So yes, before and afters. If you can put a before picture and then swipe to an after picture on Instagram, like, those swipes count for so much engagement. It's well worth it. I can see Wolf is leaving us. Thank you for joining.
Yes.
Was there another question?
I'm just having a quick look for, I think there was, just seeing if there's any questions. There's comments. So Dev just says, can you do a price comparison with your SSL fees? Have they gone up at least £40 over the last few years? Not in a position to pay these fees. Dev, I'm not sure that's super relevant to the stream at the moment. Do you mean for us to post them? I'm not sure.
Oh, it's the SSL fee, yeah.
Yeah, if it's something, I can't get your account details or anything here, but we can contact you after if you want to have a chat about that. It's not a problem. I'm not really sure how we're going to get account numbers on YouTube. Don't post it in chat.
Pop me a message on Facebook on the Fast Hosts page, and I'll make sure your query gets to the support teams.
Yeah, it's not probably. I want to try and keep this one on topic, but happy to have a talk about it. So yeah, send us a message on Facebook, and we can have a look at it.
That's a good point, actually. All of the messages that come in through the Fast Hosts pages, apart from on YouTube, go through me. So I will always make sure they get to the right place.
Yeah.
And our last slide before questions.
Last slide.
I think we've actually gone through a lot of this already.
Yes, I think we probably have, yeah.
Go me, well done. So, tips on engaging your audience. It's that being native on the platform. If you're advertising on Instagram, spend some time on Instagram. See what stops your own scroll. Every time you stop to look at something, screenshot it, and then continue your scroll. Enjoy your evening. Screenshot everything that stops you. And then when you've got a bit of headspace, go back and have... Charles is right. TV companies do make conflict up. I'm very familiar with that. But don't make it up too much. Don't sort of be like, the client came in and had a go at me. Don't do that.
It comes down to trust, doesn't it? That's what it is, I think, with that sort of thing.
You kind of expect TV companies to make up the conflict, but you wouldn't necessarily expect a bathroom remodeler to make up a conflict. So.
Yeah, exactly. It's just,
Yeah. Anyway, talking about things that interest you, most social media platforms now have something called the endless scroll. It means it will just keep giving you content as long as you're scrolling, which is wild. Social media didn't used to do that. It used to stop when you'd read everything new. So the endless scroll, you have to be catching people's attention. If you're doing videos with your face in them, make sure you start talking straight away, or have an interesting cut into it, something that makes people hesitate just a little bit to scroll away. Using humour, starting something off with a joke, using a funny noise, something like that can catch people's attention. Obviously, if it's not suitable, say you're, I know we had some accountants probably can't start things with a comedy noise, but accountants can start things with hard questions. Like, people are going to ask, when do I have to do my tax by?
Yeah.
You can start your video with, you need to do your tax by this day, and here's why, and go into talking about it.
Got visions of a
Thank you, Paula.
Like a goose now or something like that. Just, have I got your attention now? Yeah, funny.
Yeah, so have I got your attention? It's an attention economy, and then once you have it, all you have to do is be genuine, and you'll keep that attention. Using humour, and don't worry about making everything too polished. A carousel. I just saw a question. What's a carousel?
Oh, yeah, it can come to that. I was just going to say, just on the point that you just made about YouTube thumbnails as well. I know we haven't really covered we've been talking more like endless scrolling stuff, but thumbnails are really important on YouTube. Tom will tell you that, because
it's like 50% of the job of getting people to look at your videos, or any content, is making it like visually appealing.
Yeah.
That's the gateway in, and as long as you can make that good, then obviously you've got to follow up with good content, but that's the one can't exist without the other.
There's a useful tool for that. Canva has a free tier. You can join Canva and use that. It's a design, I can't call it a program, it's a design website that you can log into. It has ready-made designs. It'll walk you through how to make them yourself as well. It's very handy. I see that Rose asked, what's a carousel? A carousel is where, I know you use Instagram, so when you're on Instagram and you see those posts with multiple photos and you swipe to the side to see the next one, that's a carousel. So carousels are very popular they're mostly on Instagram, but they're also very popular on LinkedIn. They have to be uploaded as PDF files on LinkedIn, so they're slightly more complicated, but they are huge for catching attention because people always want to see what's next.
Really good for that before and after videos for Ceramica, for example.
Perfect.
Yeah, use a carousel for that.
Yeah.
Kind of like.
Or you could even do what's quite popular at the moment is they call them monthly dumps, but not in a rude way, where you basically put all of your favourite photos from the month into a carousel and call it, for example, Rose's monthly photos.
I like that.
And just do one of those a month in amongst your regular posts as well. People will like going, oh, they're looking back on that. This is what they found most important throughout their month. People love what people think. It's so curious.
I kind of want to do that on my own Instagram account.
Do
I
it.
might actually post something.
Do a monthly dump.
Pictures of my kids.
It's such a terrible term, but yeah.
I call it monthly photo
Monthly
memories.
photo memories.
It's
There
just
we
not
go.
so catchy though, is it?
No.
Fair. All right.
And that's my last slide really. So any questions?
I don't know. Right. So yes, I think that's it content-wise. We have our any questions slide, and that's the last slide. So there we go. So if anyone does have any questions or wants any tips or anything like that, I guess, fire away in the chat. We'll sit here for as long as it takes. We don't need to be done by 12 or anything. So if you've got any questions, please fire away.
I'm just waving because the camera's working.
Okay. Has it not been working?
I've not,
No.
yeah, so for most of the stream we haven't had it on. I'm going to do my best to keep it on for the
Okay.
questions and answers, just so it's like we're actually talking to people,
Yeah.
and not just a blue void in front of us.
A
So
blue
this
void.
wasn't content, but a really good tip is to have a working camera when you're doing social media.
Yeah.
things.
Turns
That's
out,
like
Yeah.
turns out that's a really good idea.
absolutely a winner. So
Or if you haven't got one, turn it into a joke.
Oh, that's true. That's
Make
that's
light
the
of it.
second best option, I think.
It's no use being stressed about something that
Nah.
if the technology's not working for you,
It's worked every other time, but just this time, inexplicably, who knows?
It'll be a fun project for me to find out what's going on with it.
Yeah. I do. Every single live stream me and Tom have done since we started doing it last year, something goes wrong, and it's always inexplicable.
Yep.
We've restarted the laptop, restarted the camera, turn it off and on again. IT company, who would have thought? But
it's not even the same issue.
Yeah.
Though.
So who knows?
But maybe that's a very good point to make, is that if you can turn stuff like this into content, like stuff going wrong into content is actually quite a popular thing.
It is.
In this kind of setting, at least, there's
obviously only do it if you can continue to remain professional
Absolutely,
or solve the problem.
If it's stuff really going wrong and it's just not usable, then it's not usable. But if it's like little things that are going wrong, and you're making content, don't stress about it. Like, use it. That can be some of your most engaging stuff.
Yeah.
Have we had a question?
Everyone likes to see us go for it.
Absolutely.
Rose, thank you very much for your comment. I appreciate it. So Bryson's UK.com just asked, interesting webinar. Just wondered why you're doing it though as your hosting company. Are you planning on offering social media management to customers? Not as far as I'm aware. The reason we're doing these is just because as my job as a customer experience manager and as Tom as a customer engagement specialist, these live sessions are kind of just our way of trying to give something back to our customers and try and help them, make them successful. So it's just about, we sell web hosting customers, but we want our customers to be successful as well. So we thought it'd be good to try and do some topics about things like search engine optimization that customers might want to know about, just to try and be helpful, really, more than anything else.
It's literally just free advice.
Yeah.
We want the businesses that are using us to be successful. Yeah. So how can we help them? We've got in-house experts. Why not share that information? I can see there's another one.
Yes, can you see?
Elmir's online classroom. Missed the start. There's been lots of chat about Meta and TikTok. Any tips on how YouTube differs? Can you sum it up in a short explanation? YouTube is much more long form, and it's a slow burn as well. I think that's probably the quickest way. Make sure your videos are quality over quantity and use shorts where you can. YouTube is slightly less social, but there is still commenting, so make sure you're commenting and advertise your content on other platforms. What do you reckon?
I think you're right. YouTube's definitely more. I know you can, like stuff like TikTok, for example, you can get a following, but I wouldn't necessarily say that it's a platform that is designed to get you a following. Like, it's very much you go on TikTok and you kind of get what you're given, and that doesn't necessarily mean don't put effort into your content on TikTok. Absolutely do that. You can get a following, but I think YouTube is definitely more geared at that. I don't want to say like being a personality, but it kind of is. It's that.
Yeah, it gives you an opportunity to build that brand.
Exactly. It's more of a place that people can come to because they know that you're making content. You're providing content in that space.
Yeah.
TikTok is really good at getting new people. I think is probably the way to look at it. TikTok's really good for.
TikTok's your funnel. Once you've got them in, get them onto your YouTube.
Exactly.
YouTube is much more long term, and that's the other thing. We always say it about websites. A lot of these social media sites, for example, what's happened with X / Twitter, you can't rely on it to be there long term. It's an advertising thing. You have to have a home. We've had another question, quite a few actually.
Quite a few questions, Joe. We will get to them, guys. I'm just going to say Ceramica was leaving the stream, so to say thank you for coming. Appreciate that.
Tim King has asked, how important are hashtags and do they need to be changed regularly on each post to boost visibility? So hashtags used to be very, very important. Now less so, because people can filter what they're searching by using a hashtag. But as the platforms have evolved, they now pick up on any word in your post. So if you're using keywords in your posts, so I don't know if you tuned into our SEO. We did an SEO one, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. That was our first one, in fact.
So SEO stands for search engine optimization, and that's basically using the right words to get the people to you. It's all about using the right words. So you can change your hashtags regularly on each post. It sort of doesn't make much difference. If an interesting tidbit about hashtags is if you say I post a photograph of my dog and I put hashtag dog, it will then show that post to 1% of people who follow me and 1% of people on the dog hashtag. So if you use a hashtag, you're actually splitting your audience, your initial start off showing. You're splitting it between the two. So it's up to you. It's whether you want to break out of where you currently are, or whether you want to reach a new audience in a new hashtag. So if you're changing your, so for example, the campsite changed from anyone who camps to family campers, they might change their hashtag from camping to family camping, and that would then bring their content over to family camping. That's a good use case for a hashtag. Otherwise, just use the right words in your post. What's the next?
I was just going to ask on that, just on I'm on X, Twitter, however you want to call it nowadays, but it's such an old man. But it's sometimes I remember it's like trending hashtags. Is that still a thing, or am I really showing my age now?
Twitter does still have, I'm still calling it Twitter. Twitter does still have a sidebar with trending topics. They're not hashtags anymore.
Okay.
It can have a trending hashtag in there, but they're not hashtag based. They are keyword based. What was the next question?
Charles Willett just asked, some software platforms employ people to create how-to videos for their products. How fast they sort of do. It's Tom's job.
That's Tom's job.
Clearly not doing it well enough.
Come on, Tom.
See, Tom's problem is he's a perfectionist. So if you go on YouTube and look at our channel, you'll see my how-to videos where they are literally filmed with a webcam and my headset, and I just walk through the process. Tom won't do this because Tom is too much of a perfectionist, and he likes a bit of flair in production, but it takes longer. So yes, however, what I will say is it's extremely resource intensive. So I could have spent my entire life updating old videos, and I mean yes, we have. It's a resource thing. It's really difficult. So the guides generally cover most of it. We would like to do more, but Tom is but one man. So
and I think it's also, and this is probably a good segue into talking about targeting your efforts as well, because like you say, it's a lot of effort to make that kind of content. And I could day in day out just make 2-3 minute videos on how to do little bits inside each product, and I absolutely could do that. But in terms of the engagement and also the usefulness, a lot of that stuff is already in writing anyway, and yes, I could absolutely turn that into video, but then there's other topics that I could explore that we can't necessarily easily explore in a written format, that kind of make more sense for me to spend my time on. So for example, I've been recently, there hasn't been so much going on YouTube because I've been working a lot on our onboarding material for some of our products, because that's a really good way of using video, is to get customers hooked into your initial offering. So that's been one thing I've been working on quite a lot. So yeah, it's basically, I think what I've been doing recently, why it's maybe not so obvious, that's my job, is because I've been kind of targeting my efforts more on an internal basis in a way that is kind of more directly targeted at people we know need that help.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there's content coming.
I feel like I've just personally insulted you.
Oh.
We were just joking.
I feel like I'm justifying my job.
There are some good how-to videos you've done.
It's such an umbrella. Your job is a big umbrella, so yes, it is a part of your job. It is not literally your job, but yes, but it was.
What else do we have?
It wasn't throwing personal shade at you there, mate. It's all good.
So Sarah has asked, what's your take on the efficacy of using ChatGPT for content ideas? Does it really know what is actually popular or potentially viral material? So, no. Essentially, in one word, no. It's what ChatGPT can do is gather information that already exists from around the internet and represent it to you in a text format. ChatGPT knows a lot because that's its job. What it doesn't know is what's going to happen next. It doesn't know anything new. It doesn't get humor. It doesn't get those human layers of it doesn't really understand nuance or comedy. So if you ask it for a joke, it will always tell you something like a knock-knock joke, or a joke that it's found on a top 10 jokes list, which, as we all know, are not that funny.
I would disagree. Actually, go on the ChatGPT subreddit. There's some good content on there. It is. I don't think some of it will be fake, but it's quite amusing with what it comes up with.
I mean, it did tell me the other day that there's only 2 R's in the word strawberry. There's 3.
I could see the
I could see you all counting then. But yeah, it's it only knows what it knows. So You can use it for getting general ideas. If you then take the general ideas, apply them to your audience and your own sense of humour and what you would like to see, that might be a good way of using it. But otherwise, don't just take it at face value. Use it as a brainstorming tool.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you give it a good prompt, like, my company does this, what sort of things can I post on social media? It's likely to give you some ideas.
Yeah,
So
it will give you very base level ideas. But it's okay if you need to fill a calendar, which I recommend against doing. Don't just post for the sake of posting. But if you feel like you need to, then yeah, ask ChatGPT for 10 post ideas for the social network for your audience.
I think what it can be quite useful for doing is taking your ideas. Let's say you've actually come in with an idea and kind of using it to kind of think of different ways to either expand the idea or look at it in a different light or something like that. I wouldn't necessarily. I think ideas generation is a bit beyond what it's capable of doing right now.
Yeah.
But in terms of like expanding your ideas or maybe, you know, reformatting your ideas, whatever, that it can be sometimes be pretty good at. But it's,
I have seen it successfully do. There's a trend going around at the moment that is, we let the Gen Z write our marketing script for this video. It's very funny if you have ever encountered someone who talks as if they've been on the internet their entire lives, because they have. It's comedy that will hit the Gen Z and the early millennials audiences. So that's anywhere from sort of 19 up to, what would you say early millennials is? Sort of 28-ish. If you want to be hitting that audience, it's a good one to do, is that we let the Gen Z write our marketing script. And I saw ChatGPT spit out quite a good script for that the other day. So that's possible.
I like AI to an extent. It's a tool.
It's a tool. Yeah. It can't replace humans. Absolutely.
I'm sure it's got ideas. I wonder what happens if you asked it, if it's going to replace humans.
I think it'll say no.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully it's got the foresight to say no, but we just said it hasn't got any foresight.
Oh, yeah.
Did we have any further questions?
I don't think we actually had any questions. Just a quick one. Thank you for everyone who's been commenting and saying thank you and everything. Genuinely, really appreciate all the comments and chat that's been going on. It makes our lives an awful lot easier. It's quite dry sometimes if we're just talking about web hosting. So thank you very much.
Thank you
for all your comments. We'll give it another minute. If anyone has got any more comments or questions, I am just checking we didn't miss any.
Yeah.
I will just say, for those who are asking about the SEO presentation, what you can do is if you go onto our YouTube channel and you can go into the live tab at the top, so you'll have like your home videos. I can just show you.
We'll just show you.
Why am I just do you know what?
Here we go.
That's a really good idea. I'll do that. So you can. This is just our YouTube channel. Feel free to subscribe if you haven't already. And also, got to throw that in there. And
the YouTube.
Get people to subscribe. That's another
tip. It's like a reflex at this point.
Say that to everyone in conversation.
It's funny how no one talks to me. So yeah, you can see there's a live tab here, and you can see all of our live streams that we've done over the last 10 months. That was our first one 10 months ago.
Yeah. Wow. And that was with Anurag, wasn't it?
Yes,
the SEO theory.
Most of the time it's just me and Tom, but we do get the occasional guest, which is way better because quite often they know an awful lot more about us.
Also,
more than us. And like I say, this would have definitely, I couldn't have run this one for sure. I don't know anything about social media, really. So we do very much appreciate you, Chelsea, coming and joining us.
It's been cool.
Good. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, if everyone go and follow each other, go and talk to each other on social media, because there's a lovely bunch of people in here now.
There's a question.
A question.
Does using a social media scheduler, Publer?
Publer is one,
okay, hamper your reach or audience?
No. I would say no, but it all feeds back into that content. If using a social media scheduler is going to mean that you post more consistency, it's going to be a good thing. If it means that you can sit down on a Saturday afternoon, schedule all of your posts and just rest easy for the next 3 weeks, then that is never going to hamper your reach. It's the CapCut one where you make it in CapCut and then post it onto Instagram that might hamper your reach, but a social media scheduler won't. We actually use Hootsuite in-house. We like Hootsuite. It's a nice one, but Publer I've used before is also good. Sprout Social's very good. some of them have a cost and some of them are free. Yeah, if it works better for you in the way that you work, it's not going to hamper you.
Would you say, would the only pitfall be, say for example, you just every 3 weeks you like load up the old scheduler, then you're not kind of doing the chatting to people and interacting if that's the only social media you do?
So what I do, actually, I will load up the scheduler once a month. I will spend 2 or 3 days making sure everything is scheduled for the next 3 weeks. I then go back in and check it. So for example, if something has happened in the news, something negative, if the post on that day is not relevant and is not going to look good against that news, I'll go in and delete it. But I call that the baseline. I'll get that baseline laid out for the next 3 weeks, and then any other posts I do will be reactive. So say, I don't know, the Met Gala happened and there was a really good meme, I'll go in and make a meme and post that natively on the FastHosts account. I'll also go in every single day and go and reply to the comments that are relevant, that need replies. Or I'll make sure that the comments that need the customer service team get the customer service team. Every day I'm checking those comments, but I'm not scheduling content every day. So it just takes that little bit of workload off, so you've then got 3 weeks to think of your next 3 weeks worth of content and get it ready. Getting stuff ready beforehand is key, especially if you're posting videos. Because it's so content heavy doing videos, you can set aside one day every few months to film a lot of 30-second things and then schedule them out and you're all sorted. So it's really good. Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you very much for everyone who's saying this has been really helpful.
Yes.
Oh, I hope you do find your mojo.
Yes.
Yes. We love mojos.
Oh, yeah. It just makes me think of Austin Powers.
Groovy.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. If anyone's got any more questions, there's a bit of a delay on the stream, so I will just give it a minute. If we don't have any more questions in the next minute or so, we shall call it a day.
Yep. Equally, like I said, I do check the comments every day. I am in charge of our social media inboxes. So if you are stuck, don't inundate me with questions, but feel free to ask. So we are here to help.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you for that, Josh Beam. It was a very interesting webinar. Well done. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. But it would be nothing without all of you. So genuinely cannot express the thanks enough for everyone coming along and chatting. Huh?
Now who's the YouTuber?
Oh, it's not me.
Subscribe.
Like and subscribe, yeah.
Oh, when are we doing another one?
Oh, yeah.
Well, we know what we're doing, I think. We had a chat about it, didn't we?
Yeah.
I think we're going to do moving a website onto a server.
Yep.
I think is the plan, because that does tend to trip people up. That's going to be, when are we? October. Because Tom's not around.
I'm not
around.
around.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not.
You've got a lovely trip.
You want to share your good news?
That I'm getting married?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Oh, there you go. I'm getting married.
That's exciting.
It is exciting.
It's a little terrifying when it's only a few days away, but yeah.
Yeah.
Exciting, terrifying.
You'll be great.
It's exciting.
I need
It'll be great.
But yeah, I think we're looking at mid to late October, most likely for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But obviously, when there'll be emails going out about it, and if you subscribe, then you'll get a notification and all that sort of stuff. So that was for them. That wasn't for.
Of course.
That was
a
key example of repeat yourself.
Yeah.
Good job.
But yeah, that'll be there. We haven't planned further enough. We haven't planned the one ahead of that one yet, but we'll see.
Yeah.
To see what's going
Again,
in the wind a little bit.
Yeah.
If there's any topics that you guys think would be useful,
for sure, yeah.
Feel free to message the pages, and I'll make sure that these guys see it.
Absolutely.
They'll be like, do I know enough about that to do a webinar on it? My favourite was doing the AI to build the website. I had to do so much research for that one.
Yeah.
And then I made a button that looked like Space Invaders using ChatGPT, and it was amazing.
That's a useful use of ChatGPT.
Oh my,
that's useful.
Yeah.
I will say that is ChatGPT for coding. As long as you understand coding a tiny bit, do you know what? You don't even need to understand coding, because I can't code. But yeah, I made loads of I mean, I probably shouldn't have made it. It was fun, but it wasn't super practical. But hey, I had a good time.
Yeah.
But yeah, ChatGPT for coding. I just popped it in there. Can you give me some code for WordPress to make me a button that looks like a Space Invader ship shooting because I was making an arcade website, and it did it for me. And I literally copied and pasted it into WordPress, and hey presto, I had a button that was really hard to hit because it kept going side to side. So yeah, perfect.
That's pretty funny. I think that's no more questions.
Well, I think that's it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we'll call it a day there.
Thank you very much.
Thanks again for everyone, and hopefully see you in the next one.
I'll just smack my microphone.
I was going to say, what was that?
Wake everyone up.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, yeah. Hope no one was wearing headphones.
All right.
Right, thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming, and hopefully see you in the next one.
Bye.